They must understand that they live in a small country and they cannot import lock, stock and barrel what they get from the developed world because someone put it in some regulations for them.
Prime Minister Philip J Pierre was updating the rules for cooperative societies when he took the opportunity to speak out for small countries who get pushed around by bigger countries. Big donor countries often use their leverage as donors to push for legislative changes that suit their needs without considering the harm it does to smaller countries.
They had to understand the peculiarities of a small society and the peculiarities of living in our region, Mr. Speaker. And we spoke about the law as it relates to cooperatives.
Cooperative societies are crucial to the growth of small economies, even in the developed world. They take risks that banks will not take with people who banks do not want to deal with, and often do it cheaper than commercial banks would.
I will not support any measure that will muzzle these cooperatives because somebody from outside says that must happen. Having said so, I think because of the volume of transactions that cooperatives handle, there ought to be some level of scrutiny, some level of oversight, but not to any level that would tie their hands, that would stop them from dealing with little people, that would stop them from having the flexibility, that would afford them the flexibility to do what people want.
The Prime Minister highlighted a problem that most ordinary people outside the realm of politics never have to deal with. It is the targeting and victimization of Caribbean politicians by international political, financial, and law enforcement
There is
agencies.
a trend, and the member from Beaufort South is right, to constantly diminish the role of elected politicians in that region. It appears once you get elected and you get into government, you become a criminal, you become dishonest, you can't make decisions, and you must be controlled. So people who never face what we face, who never have to go to a constituency office tomorrow and speak to 50, 60 people, and asking you for all kinds of things, Mr. Speaker. They believe that you must be subject to their whims and fancies because they happen to go to some school or the other.
Prime Minister Pierre pointed to the new cooperative society legislation as an example of how Caribbean leadership must strike a balance between the demands of the powers that be in the international world and the needs of vulnerable people in small
You have to make
states.
a serious judgment call, and you have to decide how far you can reach, because if not, you get punished by the powers that be. I joked the AG about NAMLOC. Then there's blacklisting. Then there's correspondent banking. Then there's many to tie your hands, to handcuff you, Mr. Speaker, because someone believes that you cannot go, that you mustn't go that far without control. That is why this Cooperative Societies Act, we took so much scrutiny, because we had to strike a balance between oversight, a balance between scrutiny, and a balance between not allowing us to forget the ethos of the cooperative movement, Mr. Speaker.
For Choice News Now, I'm Jason Seaflay.